Welcome back. In this video, we are going to take a look to some good practices for 3D modeling. It doesn't matter if you are using Solid Edge, Inventor, SolidWorks, NX, CATIA, Fusion 360, whichever software, Onshape as well. All right, so let's start by the fact that these tips are only for 3D modeling. I'm not going to touch assemblies in this video. But let's start by the beginning on the organization of our model tree. The first tip that I would like to give is the usage of folders or groups for the different instances that you are going to have in your model. So, for example, I have several groups in here, sketches and planes, then a group for features that add or remove material. Then we will have the fillets and chamfers. And finally, the patterns and mirror. Fillets and patterns could be the latest, and you may have before those the patterns and mirrors, but that will depend more on what you are designing and what is your design intent. Okay, so let me roll back or take a quick look on how my model looks in this specific zone. So as you can see, I rename the sketches and the planes that I use for reference with the intention of knowing what is what. Because as you can see here, I have a bunch of lines and planes, and if I just keep hiding them and then I need to search for them to turn them back for use them on a later operation, is going to be hard. So tip number 2, rename your sketches and planes as long as it makes sense. The other tip that I'm not showing in here, but maybe is because this model is not that long in features, is that you can also rename the features themselves, especially when there is something important to highlight in order to get back to it very quickly. Or simply let other people on the team to know what you are doing. Okay, so let's enter into the one of the sketches. I have some of my dimensions. So remember that we can add comments to our dimensions. So for example, it will be overall dim, for example, for this one. And that comment could help someone else that is working with your files. And if you have some math behind, like rules and stuff like that, you can also add comments. So that's pretty useful. So in this case, well, in Solid Edge, we have the variables table. And as you can see here, here is the comment that I have just placed. I don't have comments in this one, but I could add them definitely. Something that I really like from Solid Edge is that it goes highlighting where the dimension is located. So time to time, it is not easy to know if, for example, if there are many dimensions with 110, where is it located, right? So I have immediate reference on the screen where it is located. That's great. Okay, so that was tip number 3, use comments. Then let's jump into the add and remove material. So for this one, I know that in the previous video, I said first add the features that add material, and secondly, the features that remove material. But time to time, it is hard to follow the rules, so rules are need to be broken for get some of those models done, right? So let me show you, for example, I will roll back up to the first extrusion. So it is the base model of it. And in order to add the features that goes inside this zone, I need to remove the material because there is no way how to add a rip inside another body that is, of course, on the way. So I had to first make a couple of remove material and then come back to the add material features, right? So I would say let's keep it flexible, but at least have them one behind the other. The other tip that is important is to keep the idea as long as possible that we shouldn't add material that is going to be removed later. So for example, this cutout that I did in here, the first one, could be part of the first extrusion in order to do not have this extra feature. But then we have our next uh, recommendation, that is to break down our geometries on a simple way so they are not complex. Let's say, let's avoid sketches to become complex. You just break it down into some stuff that are going to be easy to fix in case you have problems or in case you need to redo a geometry or change it, etc. If you do a complex sketch trying to catch up everything, it's going to be hard, to be honest. Okay, so let's jump into the fillets and chamfers. Those ones are easy, to be honest, because in this one we don't have much. For my surprise, this model, well, I have it here in my hand, and I'm surprised how sharp edges are all over the place. I just have these two 4 radiuses in this corner. And then, well, for the convenience of this model, I'm having the mirror commands at the very end. So this part is symmetric in 2 axes. So it was easy to guess for me that the best way to do it is by creating just 1/4, let's say, of the model, then create a mirror, and finally get the last mirror for half this model ready. All right. So there is something pending in here that is the, oh, there are some radiuses that needs to be added. There is something else, something extra that is not in this model, that is the drafts. But since I'm going to use this model in a simulation environment, I don't want to have the drafts because those add a little bit of complexity to the modeling that is not going to say if the model is going to fail or not, or let's say geometries that are not going to be um, um, important decision makings features, let's say. So yeah, so let me push it back to the last round or fillet that we have in here. I need to call what was the thickness used in here. It is 1.2. Okay, so my internal radius could be 1.2 as well. To be honest, 1.2 at the internal, and then at the external, we're going to use 2.4 for keep the constant thickness. There we go. Okay, cool. So that, since I'm using the mirror, it is going to be replicated in the rest of the positions where it is located. All right. So let me know in the comments what are your thoughts. And please don't forget to subscribe, a way to give me a hand. And of course, don't forget to like. Cheers.